I'm not fighting no more. Kelly, let me do my job. I just told you I didn't want to do no interviews, and you said you are going to do interviews. Now you told me to do interviews. Now you're trying to take me away from them. No. Let me show Dante's Boxing Nation some love.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So after HBO pulls the plug on HBO Boxing starting in 2019, Larry Merchant, he basically gave his thoughts on the situation. Larry Merchant covered fights for HBO for decades before he was replaced by Max Kellerman. And this is what he had to say about the news. Once upon a time, we were a promising kid, then a challenger, then a champion, a great champion, a long-time champion, and then a has-been who finally retired. So long, champ. End quote. You know, the irony of all of this, there's so much irony when it comes to this whole situation with HBO, Jim Lampley, and Larry Merchant. But Larry Merchant was Floyd Mayweather's biggest antagonist in boxing. You would think it would be the contrary. You would think that if they worked together, if Floyd Mayweather fights for HBO and Larry Merchant covers fights for HBO, you would think that in a certain sense, they would be even biased, even slightly biased towards Floyd Mayweather, in favor of Floyd Mayweather. You know, like when Chick Hearn used to call Laker games, or an even better example, like Jim Lampley used to call Gennady Golovkin fights. You would think that that's the way they would call a Floyd Mayweather fight, but that wasn't the case. Now, when it comes to Chick Hearns, when I said he was slightly biased, it was a normal type of bias. You have to remember, he was a commentator for the Lakers. It was completely professional, and he never said anything that was out of pocket or out of line or disrespectful towards the other team, but he just had this admiration for the Lakers. He had this level of respect for the Lakers. And that's something that Larry Merchant and Jim Lampley, they never had for Floyd Mayweather, no matter how many fights he would win. He'd find a way to discredit the win. We remember when Floyd Mayweather, when he had the close decision to Castillo, and Larry Merchant said he thought that Castillo won the fight. Larry Merchant pretty much told Mayweather this. Mayweather said to Larry, we could do it again. We could do it all over again. So Floyd Mayweather keeps his word. He fights Castillo in an immediate rematch, beats him decisively. This time, Larry gets in the ring, and then he starts talking about how boring the fight was. And then even though he's forced to acknowledge that Floyd Mayweather won the rematch with no controversy, he still starts to question Floyd Mayweather and ask him, why was the fight still competitive though? Why was it so close? You said you hurt your hand in the first fight, so why was this fight so close, etc., etc., etc. So when Larry Merchant questions the first decision, Floyd Mayweather clearly wins the second fight, and Larry Merchant is still criticizing Floyd Mayweather's performance. So then after that, Floyd Mayweather, he came back and he got an impressive knockout win over Philip Endo. And just keep in mind, Larry Merchant was talking about how boring Floyd Mayweather was in the Castillo rematch. So now when Floyd Mayweather is exciting and he's getting knockouts, then Larry Merchant, he says, but look at the seats. If you look at the seats in the arena, there's a whole bunch of empty seats, etc., etc., etc. He said basically, he may be good, but he will never be a star in the sport of boxing. And how crazy is it? This was over about, 10, 15 years ago when Larry Merchant was saying this. You fast forward to present day, and not only does Floyd Mayweather outlast HBO boxing, but he is the richest athlete ever in sports, period. I remember it was something else that Larry Merchant said after Floyd Mayweather had knocked out Victor Ortiz. Larry Merchant said right after Floyd Mayweather knocked Ortiz out, well, that was the only time Floyd Mayweather was ever exciting. That's what he said. Keep in mind, guys, Larry Merchant was there covering all of Floyd Mayweather's fight prior to him saying that. When Floyd Mayweather knocked out Philip Endo, when Floyd Mayweather knocked out Ricky Hatton, when Floyd Mayweather knocked out Corrales, when Floyd Mayweather knocked out Charmaine Mitchell, when Floyd Mayweather knocked out Janelle Hernandez, when Floyd Mayweather knocked out Angel Manfredi. This man was sitting there ringside, and then he says the Victor Ortiz fight was the only exciting fight. You see how they try to spin things to their liking, or what they want to believe, or what they want other fans to believe? This is the true mark of a grand wizard when it comes to the decafs, guys. Create this negative stereotype, if you will. It doesn't even matter if the statement is true or not. Just put it out there, and the goal is to try to get at least a couple people, if not everyone, to believe it, regardless if it's true or false. This is what Larry Merchant and Jim Lampley were very good at doing. To fighters on the coincidental list, that is. But it wasn't just fighters, and it wasn't only Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant that were always trying to perpetuate something negative to say about a person on the coincidental list. They did the same thing with Al Heyman. They said that Al Heyman was the cancer of the sport. And see, what happens is when you don't like someone and you hear someone else say something negative about them, it's therapeutic for the person hearing this that also hates the same person, right? It's no different than a person having a girlfriend. He's madly in love with this girl, let's say, and then she dumps him. She just dumps him. She leaves him for another man. Now, in that situation or that case, if you were to hear somebody talk bad about that girl, that's going to make you feel just a little bit better. Just a little bit, right? If you get fired from your job and you're a little pissed off about the situation, and then you hear some people say, oh, you know they're about to go out of business. Oh yeah, man, they're doing all kind of illegal stuff, and yeah, man, they're going down. That's going to make you feel a little bit better. So this is how it basically works when, once again, you have the grand wizards of the decafs like Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant feeding this red meat to the base and basically telling them, oh, you know, Al Heyman ain't nothing. He's going out of business. Floyd Mayweather ain't gonna never be a star. He's boring. He's never in any exciting fights. Anything that's negative about these people on the coincidental list, once again, is going to make these fans feel much better just hearing it. But the only problem with that way of thinking is eventually you are confronted with the whole truth. And once the truth comes out, it trumps these created stereotypes, if you will. But it doesn't just trump them, it shuts them down. Just like the truth shut down HBO boxing. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. That's all I got for this one, guys. I'm on to the next one.